like balance you have to do. You don't have to do it. You could just be like, fuck off, I'm working now. But there's a weird balance in our house where I'm going to work. Sam is like still becoming a conscious human, right? Hold on, I'm going to turn this down really quick. Okay. And that was me, by the way. That was my computer. The bloop. That was me. And our kid will ask for things, and I'm doing mental math like, do I have time to do that before I need to work? And there are certain things where I'll go, bro, I'm working now. Ask your dad. I don't care how tired he is. Just, I'm off shift now, right? And sometimes the thing is so small, it's such a small ask that I go, yeah, honey, I can do that super quick for you, right? And I flew too close to the sun today. And my kid asked for a thing, and I was like, yeah, that'll only take a second. And it didn't. It took much longer than a second. The problem was, aside from the fact that I was late, but the problem was that I had made my lunch with the intention of eating my lunch while pre-show was on, but I hadn't eaten it yet. And it wasn't like a sandwich. It wasn't one of those lunches where I could be like, I'll just eat it after. I needed to like eat it now. So, so I just sat here for the last 6-7 minutes, eating my lunch. So I was here all along. Thank you for your patience. Sam's still developing his first thought. Yeah. Our morning a lot of times, well, his like waking up time. I won't say morning because it's never morning, but the Sam is becoming a human again point of the day is typically me going, hello, I hope you slept well. Here's the news. Hello, taps paper. Here's the news. Here's what our child is doing. Here's what the dog is doing. And I'm leaving. I'll see you later. Kiss, kiss. Bye-bye. And then I dab. Yes, Dodger here with the morning recap. Today, our dog is limping again, although it seems to be improving. We've kept her mostly on a crate day. However, she did go outside for a 10-minute walk around the house on lead, of course. Also, our child is really deep into a crafting hole today. And I gotta say, the dining room table and the coffee table have never looked worse. Back to you, Sam. Bye. So, one of the things that she asked me to do as I was out the door that I was like, I cannot do that, is we have like one of those like hand crank knitting machines. And she really wants to make a scarf for her friend's birthday. And I was like, I think that's a great idea. We should absolutely do that. And she was like, so I need you to set up the knitting machine for me so I can make it while you're at work. And I was like, no. No, it takes too long. Even just setting it up takes too long, baby. I'm so sorry. I wonder at what age it stops feeling like a second job. What, having a child? I think it's just a job that's constantly in flux. Because it would be easy to say, well, as they gain independence, they don't need you to do as many things for them, which is true. But the it's a job. When you had a kid, you were like, I want this lifelong job. Right? So the job just changes, doesn't it? Yeah. So far today, she found some snowflake earrings that were given to her and wanted to turn them into clip-on earrings. That was the whole process. She pulled out the paint pens and was drawing all over a glass. And then she wanted to make the scarf. And then she wanted to, we have like an upholstery circle thing that we never used for anything. And she kept asking to do stuff with yarn. So I was like, oh, it would be cool if we did one of those like big weave things, right? Where like you have strings all the way around and then you take yarn of different like textures and sizes and you sort of like weave it around and it becomes like a little mat. And so she did that for a while. It's just, there's shit everywhere. I'm not a New Yorker. I am from the opposite coast of the United States. I'm from Oregon. But I did spend 10 years in California. So. West Coast dabs. Clark is 6 years old now. I know. It's crazy. She's doing math. She knows the parts of a sentence. She knows what proper nouns and verbs and adjectives are. You know, she's like reading and writing and shit. It's crazy. She knows how to use the sewing machine. What is time? No idea. If Sam is just getting up, is he on Eastern time? Well, Sam works all night. So he starts work at 7 p.m. for us. And then normally goes until like 3 a.m. Stays up for a couple more hours just to have some like solo hymn time, which we both need. So I don't fault him for that. And then he sleeps from like 6 a.m. ish, 5 to 6 a.m. ish until about noon, 1 o'clock. Oh, thank you, Forecast Gray. That's very sweet. Now we've got loads of markers, so we're good. Now is his morning. Now is his morning. Yes, he's just getting up now. But to the person who asked about Peachy, so Peachy injured her leg forever ago. She's been fine for a while, but we've just now hit the point where she's taking 2 walks a day. And then she started limping around again. So we were like, okay, we can't do 2 walks a day. So we're keeping her sort of constrained, not constrained, but like we're not letting her run around a bunch. We're not taking her for walks for a couple days to see if her leg improves again. And then we'll slowly build up movement again. It's the same leg. She just keeps re-injuring it if she moves around too much. I have a nephew who's about to go to high school after the summer. I'm like, dude, I remember when you were in nappies. What the hell happened? Yeah. Isn't that weird? Like, what? I mean, I think that about my nieces sometimes. my sister will have to remind me, like, your nieces are in their 20s. They're adults now. I'm like, oh, right, of course. Of course they are, yeah. I think what winds up happening a lot of times, if you've been in a person's life since they were like tiny, right? Sometimes you don't think of them as specific ages. You think of them as like chunks. So you're a kid, and then you're a teenager, right? And then you're in your 20s, but it's like young 20s. And there's a huge mental shift, a mental adjustment when you get told they're not 21 anymore. Remember, they're like turning 30 in a couple of years. And you're like, what? What happened? What do you mean? So. Yeah, I think there's a big, there's a weird gear shift there that I've had to do with my nieces, with both of my sister-in-laws. My mother-in-law was like, yeah, well, you know, your sister-in-law is about to turn 30. And I was like, huh? What do you mean? But then I remember that Sam and I have been together for like 10 years now. So my oldest will be 20 in a few weeks. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I have to remind my dad that I'm not about to be 40, but I'm like a couple years away from being 40. And he's like, no. I have that. In my head, my sister is a preteen, but actually she's nearly 20. Does anyone still get dreams where you're your younger self? I had one the other day of me in school. I have dreams about being younger a lot, actually. And I've come to meet quite a few people and like read and watch things from people who don't really like remember their childhoods for one reason or another. And so I try to be thankful that I have that information to pull from to like concoct a dream in the first place. But it is always weird to wake up and be like, I was a child a moment ago. I had a school anxiety dream last night, even though I haven't gone to school in years. I don't think I've had a school dream in a long time. Ugh. School dreams, no, but old jobs, yes. I have my like most frequent nightmares as an adult now are like I'm back in a situation that I finally got out of, right? Like I'm hanging out with a person who is really bad for me, or I'm, in like a living situation that was bad for me or whatever, right? Like it's always these like kind of boring but almost more jarring sorts of dreams where I'm like, that really is my nightmare, to have to regress back to like old me that didn't get out of that situation, sort of a thing, There's a specific friend that I had that our relationship was so bad, like it like just not healthy for me at all, that when I finally got out of it, it was one of those like, oh my God, it feels like a weight's been lifted off of me, right? Like I was finally just straight up like, I don't think I can be your friend anymore. It was like, oh my God, that's all it took, right? Like, oh my God, and I'm free and it's done. But I still have nightmares about that person where I'm just like, it's literally just, I'm just spending a day with them. And there's a little me in the back of my head while I'm acting normally. There's a little me in the back of my head that's like, no, wait, wait. We're not supposed to be here. We got out of this. No. Anyways. I'm back in the fucking building. Yeah. I'm free now. Exactly. Anyone else have dreams where they're old? I feel like I'm the only one. I don't think I've ever had a dream where I'm old. Like what my brain thinks of as old, you know? Sometimes when I've talked a bit about how, especially when my kid was born, my like worry about everything sort of anxiousness ramped really bad. And I would have dreams about bad stuff happening to my kid all the time. I'm so glad that I don't have those all the time anymore. Anyone else ever have an animated dream? Yes, absolutely. I think more often when I was young, because I would daydream all the time about being in my favorite shows or my favorite comics. And so those daydreams just turned into like later dreams, you know? Yeah, quite a few of you are saying that you've had dreams where like you had kids in the dream and then woke up when you were like top 5 favorite podcasts or talk shows. Oh my gosh, I haven't gotten super into like any new podcasts recently. I'll do you a favor and not mention the ones that my friends are in. Those are the ones I listen to the most often because they help when I'm feeling like lonely or whatever. I'll just pop on Chilluminati or something. But I won't mention those. Dungeons and Daddies, I still think, has kind of a slow start, but is like the best D&D podcast I've ever listened to. Oh my gosh, I haven't listened to them in so long. I'm trying to remember what they're even called. The podcasts I used to listen to. I'd have to think about it. Is it afternoon? I just woke up. It's afternoon where I'm at. I have to start my day. I need coffee. I forgot to bring my coffee up here, so pour one out for me, bud. Have a great day. Sherlock & Co. is great. If you like Sherlock Holmes stuff, love Sherlock & Co. I started listening to Ologies. Ologies is pretty great. That's really fun. It covers such a huge, broad range of topics. Ologies, yeah, they cover like every topic is, you know, numerology, Scientology, sure, you know, like whatever, like a word that ends with ology, and they bring on an expert in that field or someone who can like glean information about the topic, and it's really cool. It's really, really cool. The first episode that I listened to, I've only listened to a couple, but the first episode I listened to was about murals and graffiti, and sort of like the politics around murals and graffiti, what the difference is. And they managed to find an ology word that is like how, if scientifically you wanted to refer to, you know, like wall art, essentially. It was cool. It was really interesting. Experts talking about their specialties is usually good. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Wallology is fun to say. It wasn't wallology. I'm so sorry. Forecast great. You're talking about Apple Day. My mother-in-law and I were talking about, because we have so many different types of apples on the trees here, and we don't know what any of them are. And apparently, like you were saying, in different areas of the United Kingdom, they'll have like apple days where you can go and there will be like experts there to tell you what apples you have and stuff if you bring them. It's so cool. Yeah, Ologies with Ali Ward is the name of that. Are they just wild apples? No. They were planted here by someone a million years ago. We got our, we signed up for the Woodland Trust out here, and they sent like Clark a little like package with a bunch of like information and like just stuff. One of the things that they send you is a little flip book of the leaves of different types of trees that naturally grow here. So that while you're like walking around, if you or a kid or whatever want to, you can try to identify the trees that you're seeing. And we had taken Peach on a walk, and Clark found these leaves that she thought were beautiful and was like, I'm going to take these home and see if I can figure out what tree this is. I was like, I think that's a great idea. And she went through and she was like, it doesn't look like any of them. She was so mad. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. Clark discovering an invasive tree. It was part of a hedgerow, so I would be really surprised if it wasn't like a naturally occurring variety. From what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not from here, but from what I understand, people generally try to keep the hedges to just like naturally occurring stuff out here. I guess it doesn't necessarily mean it isn't invasive, but everything should be from here, if that makes sense. I wonder if it's an Acer. They're my favorite. The bottom part of the leaf was white. That's why she was excited. The bottom part of the leaf was white and the top part was black. But I think it was black because the leaves are turning. I think normally it's green and it got like that nature patina when it fell off the tree. Does that make sense? So I don't know. Oh my God. You know what I saw though? I saw this dude who takes leaves, puts a glove on, obviously, and then like dips the leaves in a little bit of bleach and then presses them like a stamp onto clothes. And it looked so cool. And I was like, how fucking sick would it be to get a sweatshirt and then grab a bunch of the leaves from the apple trees and make like design sweaters for everybody or something that have like leaves from the trees on the property. I think that would be so cool. I'm gonna try it. My mom would lay out leaves on a t-shirt and then spray bleach from a spray bottle. That's also a cool idea. Yeah, it's also cool because like applying heat can make the bleach behave a bit differently, right? So this guy would like put these leaves down, and some of them he wouldn't do anything to, but some of them he would iron. So they were all like varying intensities of lightness. It was really cool. It's like, that's so freaking clever. Like, humans are so cool. Was Clark's leaf shaped like this, but kind of small? I don't know how better to describe it, but cuter. I don't know. I can't remember, to be honest. I would have to look. Faith in humanity restored. Yeah. Oh my God. My hand hurts really bad. And I was trying to figure out why. And I remembered that I think I got like a really, really minor steam burn. It's not like discolored or anything. So like really minor, but it still hurts. Because I'd put a bunch of water in the kettle, turned the kettle on, and then went to pour the kettle, and the lid wasn't on the fucking thing. So when I went to pour it, all the steam from inside just smashed directly into my hand. And I was like, ah! Oops. Whoops. Whoopsie doodle. I do that every time I strain pasta. When I was little, my mom had a story that she told me that I still think about all the time, so it was effective. But it was one of those like cautionary tales, right? Where someone that she knew had gone to pour pasta into a colander, and the steam was so, the way that she had poured it, the steam hit this part of both of her arms and burned her really badly. And she was like, and that's why you always leave a note. Just kidding. That's why you always like pour this way, so your arms are out of the way of the steam, right? I think about it every time. Thank you. Yeah, I like it. I just realized my kid moved that. She was like, Mommy, can I have this? I was like, no. She loves the lamb from Cult of the Lamb and saw that I had the record. I was like, I want this in my room. I was like, no. If only she knew how evil that lamb is. She knows that when you play the game, you can choose to be more or less evil. She knows that at the start of the game that you are working for an evil god named Narinder. She knows that. Yeah. She knows that in like a bunch of the art, this is also a Cult of the Lamb blanket. So that's the lamb right there. She knows that in a lot of the art, it looks like the lamb is crying blood. So like she knows, she knows that it's not like a cutesy game, you know? She was like, can I watch you play it? I was like, I would have to remind myself if anything is not Clarky appropriate. And before you say, there's a banging tent, Dodger, that shows up later. I mean, if we were starting the game from scratch, like, how quickly would we hit stuff that was age appropriate, you know? We have lambs at home. Does Clark like scary things? She's actually, I think, done really well at figuring out what things are not okay for her. She is not okay with blood. She's not okay with like even the mental imagery of someone getting hurt and bleeding. Really freaks her out. But like monsters, like interesting looking monsters, she's fine with, you know? We were talking about kind of this same thing the other day, about my kid, like, it was about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show, because the movie we didn't go see because we looked on like Common Sense Media and things like that to see what was in the movie first. And I was like, I think you're too young for this. I think it's going to be a bit scary for you. And she was like, okay, got it. No problem. Right. And I had said, oh my gosh, the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show is out and apparently it's really good. Do you want to watch it with me? And she had pushed back a little bit, like, well, you said that the movie wasn't appropriate for me, so the show might not be, right? And someone in chat was like, man, Clarky, really a vehement rule follower, huh? And I was saying, I don't think that's what it is at all. I think it's I think it's good to let kids know that they have resources to look up or find out like what's in this thing, you know? She asks all the time if there's a thing that she wants to see, and I say, I don't really know what's in that. I don't know if it's okay for your age, whatever. She immediately will just be like, well, let's look it up, you know? And I think it's awesome to have those resources and for her to know that those resources are there so that she can make an informed decision and I can make an informed decision about like what is and isn't gonna be fine for us, right? So like she was listening to a song. There was like a playlist of kids songs, and one of them was from the fucking Poppy musical, which I've never seen before, and neither has she, but I know that it's like a sort of kids horror thing. And in the song, it was very like there was a part that was like, I'm gonna bite your lungs or something like that. And she was like, nope. Immediately turned it off and was like, I don't want to think about a monster biting somebody's lungs. That's too much for me. Done with that. Over it. So, yeah, I think she likes Halloween themed stuff. She likes spooky stuff. She loves watching like videos of people make monsters, right? So around Halloween, a lot of people put up videos of like, here's cool stuff that I made for my backyard, sort of a thing, right? She loves those. She'll watch a really long video of somebody like, I made this really creepy monster to put in my yard. She loves it. She finds that fascinating, right? And I think there's also an element there of like, you're seeing behind the curtain, right? It's kind of like when people work on haunted houses and then they don't find haunted houses as scary. I think it's not scary for her because she's watching the process of it getting made. So yeah, she knows that blood and like things attacking each other and hurting each other, that sort of stuff she doesn't like very much. But like the existence of the monsters, she's kind of down with. Has she seen Over the Garden Wall? No, she's too young for that. Over the Garden Wall is fucking weird, like creepy weird. And I know I just said that she likes monster stuff, but like Over the Garden Wall is purposefully unsettling, like even to adults, I think. Why lungs though? I have no idea. Again, I don't know anything about Poppy. But it was weird for her to be listening to, because generally if she's on just like a kid's song Spotify playlist, I'm not like hovering over her shoulder to make sure that the songs are all appropriate, you know? So she has like a little Bluetooth speaker that she takes in the car, and it was just auto playing songs. And that song came on and we were both like, what is this? My mom, who works with kids up to 5 years old, asked me once if I knew what Poppy was because one of the kids kept talking about it. Dude. I was talking with a teacher friend of mine who was saying like, it's clear like pretty quickly if a kid is allowed to watch like really age inappropriate stuff at home. like when you work with like pre-K kids, like little kids, it's so obvious really quickly. Yeah, one of the things that a tip that I got, not from a person I know, but from a video that I think about a lot as my kid is starting to read more, is they said that their rule growing up from their parents was if they wanted to watch a scary movie and the movie was based on a book, their parents would say, we don't think that this movie's like appropriate for you, but if you'd like to try reading the book, go for it. Because there's a huge, we've talked about this before, because there's like a huge difference between reading it and like creating the imagery for yourself in your mind versus somebody who is intending to scare somebody or whatever, making a movie and you seeing what they've created for you, right? I think that's such a good rule. Like, I read the Misery book when I think I was too young, really, for Misery. But because I was a kid, like, the more violent stuff that's described in that book, I literally couldn't really, like, concoct what that would look like. You know? I had no frame of reference for what that would look like. So even though I was like, ooh, it wasn't like horrifying to me to read that, really, you know? That's also true. If something scary is happening, you can skip. Yes. Not gonna lie, that wouldn't work on kiddo me. I always imagine things worse than they are. I guess it's just whether or not you have a frame of reference to pull from. Reading Animal Farm as a kid and not understanding the political undertones. Dude, I maintain that at least when I was in school, we read Animal Farm too young. Not because it was too scary, but because I don't think any of us truly understood what they were trying to teach us about that book. Yeah, I think I walked away being like, the pigs are bad. The pigs are bad. The pigs are humans. The pigs are humans and humans are bad. I should probably reread Animal Farm. I've thought about rereading Animal Farm. Yeah. Is Gravity Falls age appropriate? I think she'd, for a 6-year-old, she'd probably be fine with Gravity Falls, but honestly, I'm not sure. She definitely wouldn't appreciate all of the nuance of Gravity Falls, but that's true of a lot of kids' shows. I'm gonna find out what. Let's use one of these tools in real time. Let's go to Common Sense Media for Gravity Falls and see what it says. Recommended for ages 8 and up. Clever sibling story, has spooky stuff for kids. Why age 8 and up? Generally, people are rating it as a 2 out of 5 on violence and scariness. Butt and heck are as strong of language as it gets. but it has a 3 out of 5 on positive messages. Somebody else countered and said, I think it's for age 12 and up. Funny, but it's not for young kids. I think 8 to 10-ish would be like perfect for Gravity Falls, probably. Yeah, that's true. I do remember watching later episodes of Gravity Falls and being like, I cannot believe they let this be on the Disney Channel. That's incredible. I said this on Geekenders, but we are slowly but surely making our way through The Hobbit. It's actually kind of sticking this time. She's enjoying it. We're about to get to the elves, I think. We're past the trolls now. I think we're about to meet up with Elrond and them. I know. It's very exciting. How many people are currently working on Geekenders besides you and Jesse? Working on it. Me and Jesse. Me and Jesse. I think one of Jesse's editors pulls like the clips that go on social media. Aside from that, I have no idea. Just us, I think. Because I stream it, and then we do it on a Friday, and nobody's in Jesse's office on Fridays. So he takes the VOD and puts it up on YouTube and stuff. The ones that have had like really wonky audio stuff, I think he's brought somebody else in on to see if it could get fixed. But generally, it's just me and Jesse when it comes to like the full thing. I don't think so. I think Jesse does the VOD. Because he always says that nobody's in the office on Fridays, and it always goes up on Friday. The spiders are after the elves, I think. The hot spider. Got it. When do we get to Radagast? When does the bear man show up? I can't remember. I don't know. I cannot remember in what sequence things happen in this book. Bear man is before spiders. Okay, so it goes trolls, elves, bear man, spiders. Radagast isn't in the Hobbit book? What? Really? Am I getting confused because he's in the movie? Oh, man. He's not in the book? God, I don't remember that. But to be fair, I haven't read the book in a while. Gollum. When does Gollum show up? Gollum's during the goblins, right? do the goblins show up? Oh my God. I just don't know when things happen. Mm-hmm. Goblins are before spiders? Okay. Gobbo Baldur's Gate 3, by the way, was ludicrous. It was very fun. I was so sleepy by the end, though. But yeah, it was very fun. I hope we do that again. Trolls, then Rivendell. Goblins, Bjorn, spiders, elves, Smaug, battle. Okay, great. Wah, wah, wah. As someone who never got into Lord of the Rings, it sounds like some kind of code. I read, so, I watched the movies before I read the Hobbit book. I didn't read any Tolkien as a kid. So watch the Hobbit movies was like, that was a fun time. I maintain that that's why I'm totally fine with the movies, because I didn't go into it with any affection for the book, right? And then a bunch of us, I want to say like 8 or 9 years ago, we were like, let's do a book club. And the first book that we read for the book club was The Hobbit. And that was really fun. So I've read it, but I still get it confused with the movies. What book would you recommend for a kid 4.5 years and up? Like a novel? Like something you can just sit and just read? Or just any book? Read right before bed that I can continue each night. Okay, so like a longer reading experience. I feel like some people are going to be like, you should read Roald Dahl. Don't. Don't. We made that mistake. We had to adjust and skip a lot of shit because there's so much in those books that no. So our issue is that my kid has a lot of trouble focusing, if there aren't occasional pictures, your kiddo might have the same vibe. So we've really struggled, honestly, to do books that you can just like pick up and continue reading. The ones that stuck with us really well before managing to get onto like novels or like stories is more like encyclopedic sort of things, if that makes sense. So my kid was super into bugs. So we have the like Nat Geo Kids big book of bugs. It's like this thick. And so every night we'd just like read about new bugs. We just started from the beginning and read all the way through, and we've read about every bug in that book. So it gives that same vibe of like, let's pick up where we left off, you know? But it's not, you're not like forcing them to remember a bunch of stuff in a story necessarily. So if you figure out, or, you know, you're a trusted adult in the situation that I assume knows him really well. If he has like something he's really interested in, see if you can get a book that has a lot of information about that thing. And that might sort of give you that like, all right, let's keep reading this thing vibe. Mm-hmm. My kid is all about poems as well. If we ask her what she wants us to read her at bedtime every night, she will say poems every single night. She wants Shel Silverstein poems every single night. And I was really straight up with her, and I was like, honey, I gotta read something else. Like we gotta do something else, dude. I can't keep this up. So we came to an agreement, which was that we would start reading a different thing, a different book, and then if within like, you know, 10-15 minutes, if she was still having trouble sleeping, we'd swap to poems. So she would still get the poems if the other thing like wasn't doing it, you know. Yeah, the hilarious thing is we got a thing. It was like I know that some of it's copy pasted, and I don't fault them for that at all. But like at the end of the year, when we got like the big breakdown of, you know, here's how Clark did in school, you know, here's what we suggest going forward based on the level she's at now, whatever. When talking about her reading level, there was a huge thing that was like, these are the sorts of things that we really think you guys should start incorporating when reading to her and encouraging her to read. You really should start like adding in some poetry. And Sam and I looked at each other like, if we add in more poetry, we'll barf. Poetry's all that happens in this house. I can't add in more. Telly. Hi, where are the pot noodles? Clark wants some. They're just in the pantry, honey. They're not in the pot though. It's the bag. It's next to the medicine box. We got a bunch of them. No, that's what I'm saying is that this was just sort of like a standard thing to say, but we just found it funny that they suggested that we start incorporating poems, knowing that we've been browbeat into reading her poetry every single night for like 3 years now. So yeah. The Hobbit has lots of music in it. The Misty Mountain song is like really long. And the first part of the Misty Mountain song, I have sang to Clark as a bedtime song for a long time. So it was actually kind of fun to read that part of The Hobbit and be like, this is where the song's from. But it is extremely long in the book. I know. Look. Yeah, I've got some grays right in the front. It's kind of hard to see them sometimes, but there's a bunch of them popping up like right here. It's very cool. I'm hoping I get like my rogue stripe. Mm. Last time I mentioned the gray to my mom, she was like, aren't you a bit young for that? She might be watching right now. I don't know if she remembers this. She's like, aren't you a bit young to start having grays? And I was like, no. I'm in my late 30s. It was a perfectly normal time for people to start having gray hairs. Yeah, I had friends that started getting grays in high school. It's definitely just all genetics, isn't it? So Free says she can see the number of projects I've managed by counting the number of grays I have. Yeah, I think that it took a while. My dad's hair is pretty light, and I think it took a while for people to realize how much of it was gray, because it just sort of his hair just, you know, slowly started to look more and more like ashy blonde. And then suddenly it was like, "Oh, wait. That's a lot of that's like gray now." Yeah, well, just it blends in for so long. If you just have them like kind of here and there, you know, they just sort of like blend in with the hair color, just kind of look like a little bit lighter. So that's true. Yeah, Sam's got some salt and pepper showing up in here, which I think is gonna look very nice on him. He hates them, but no. a goose. I don't know. All I know is weird noises were coming out, so. We scooch. We scooch. We scooch. Yeah, I know. The passage of time. You'll all be very proud of me. I finished the chicken fencing. I built it. It's all done. Very proud. It looks great. I think I've been meaning to buy some blueberry bushes. And I think I'm gonna put a couple blueberry bushes around the fencing, the fence line. So I think that'll look nice. How many can you have legally? I don't know, but I'm in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by farmland, so I wouldn't stress about it too much. I guess I probably should look it up, but we currently have 4. Yeah, I don't know. I might be engaging in chicken crime. I don't know. How many chickens can I have? Ready? In the United Kingdom, anyone can keep up to 49 chickens without having to register. I'm good, I think. I'm good right now. If you have over 50 birds, you have to register them as a flock. There's no national rules or regulations in the United Kingdom to stop you from keeping small numbers of less than 50 chickens. There you go. Yes, 49 living chickens. What if your chickens start to have chickens? That is something you can control, but also you can sell them, I guess. Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm excited about. Like they have a decent sized chicken run, but I wanted them to have a bit more outdoor space that I can cover in case we have another like bird flu scare and shit. How many crumbles are you allowed? Great question. How many geese can I own? It's the same. So it seems like generally it's like just try to have less than 50 birds. If you have 50 birds, you got to tell somebody about them. Yeah. The second you get that 50th goose, they're on your doorstep, dude. Yeah. If you have 50 geese, they merge into a goose king. It's interesting 49 is the cutoff. Why not just make it an even 50? Because it is an even 50. It's when you have 50 poultry, 50 birds, you have to register them. So it's saying as long as you have 49 or less, you're fine. But if you have 50, you got to register them. 50 is a flock, yeah. Yeah. If we had 50 geese, I wouldn't really be worried about bird police. I would be more worried about the 50 geese. As a reminder, you need a rooster in order. Eggs don't just turn into chickens. They still need to be fertilized, just like human babies. If you don't have a bird there that can fertilize the eggs, they don't turn into chickens. I'm just making sure everyone knows that. Jeff Goldblum did say life finds a way, and he was right. You know what? We looked it up because we were curious about whether or not hens can do that like genetic shift into roosters. It can happen. I don't think that they're able to like successfully fertilize eggs though. I can't remember. I'll let you look that up. I assume, again, I'm not a biologist. Like, please look all of this up yourself. I would assume that it happens in situations where, I'm trying to think of how to put this, because roosters also are like protector birds, right? If like that role needs to be filled. No, it's not. It's eggs are like chickens having their periods. Except it happens every day. It happens every day, and it creates an egg. It's the same sort of thing that happens with humans, right? Like, our bodies build like this whole thing, this whole house for a baby to live in. And then if the baby doesn't show up, our bodies go, well, fuck this then, and chuck it all out. And then we bleed, right? So chickens do the same thing. It's just different, and it happens almost every day, depending on what they're eating and how their bodies are doing and all of that. But yeah, it's the same thing. Their bodies built a little house, the egg, for a baby. And then they get rid of it. I forgot that we started talking about this because I was like, guess what, guys? I built a fence. Oh, goodness. Good job on the fence. Thank you. I'm very proud of it. And now, yeah, like I was saying, the next step is just to ideally, I want to grow a bunch of like chicken friendly plants around the fence line. Aside from there's a part that I cut slightly lower so that I can climb over it. But I want to put plants all the way around it. And that way, hopefully, it'll also sort of reinforce the fence. So. Wouldn't that make repairs kind of hard when needed? I guess so. But I would just pull the thing away from the fence. I'm not worried about the chickens getting out. I'm worried about foxes getting in. I want to make it really annoying for foxes and specifically rats. We still have rats breaking into the coop all the time. And to be fair, they're much smaller and they've got that really fun thing where their bodies can flatten out to the size of their heads. So I'm not mad at them for surviving. I am sick of going into the coop, going into the run, and their food just being dumped out and emptied because rats snuck in and ate it all. We have a farm cat, dude. Is the barn cat not doing its job? It's a big farm. I'm not mad at it for not getting all of the rats yet. Yeah, I've put a lavender plant near where they keep like scrambling in. And my father-in-law was like, you should just put a hook on the ceiling. And then every day when you go to shut up the coop, you can just hang their food from the ceiling. And that way it's not just sitting on the ground. And I was like, yeah, that's smart. It still annoys me, but that's smart. their skull fits, they fit. Yep. That's why they can just like squeeze under doors sometimes and things. I haven't. Dude, at my kid's school, they made like little hedgehog houses to put in the garden. And I was like, why have I still never seen a hedgehog? Since apparently they are just out and about, living their lives out here. And I've still never seen one. I've seen a fox. I've seen multiple foxes. I've never seen a hedgehog. Yeah. The same way that people have like bug houses, like bug hotels, they'll have like little hedgehog nooks in their gardens. It's because they're nocturnal. This makes sense. And they're also small. They're quite small, aren't they? It's because they're too fast, if Sonic is any indication. They're the fastest thing alive. They're the fastest thing alive. Was that an actual Sonic song? Yes. Do you want to hear it? I bet it wouldn't be hard to find it. Instrumental version? Absolutely not. Where is it? Don't doubt what he can do. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive. Yeah, that's yeah. Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon intro. Not that one. Here we go, banger, dude.
Blue streak speeds by. Sonic the Hedgehog, too fast for the naked eye. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive.
Dude, my nostalgia is hitting so hard.
Look out when he storms through. Sonic the Hedgehog, don't doubt what he can do. Sonic the Hedgehog,
I was really into Sonic.
Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest thing alive.
This was the one with like Not Whole Village and Sally the Princess and like, oh my God, there were so many characters. It was the same characters that were in the comics. So if you were reading the comics and then this show came on, you were like, oh my God. It's so good. So good. There was so much drama. Today I learned Sonic had a comic. Oh, it did. It did. I'm trying to remember at what issue they like rebooted it, but I think it was issue 100 or 120 something, but it got so weird. It was those same characters, right? It was like Sonic and the Rebellion with Princess Sally and all these other characters. There was so much drama, dude. And then there was a huge mini series with like Knuckles and the Chaotix and his whole family and all of that. And it was amazing. They were all done by Archie Comics. So they kept doing like spin-off like mini series shits. Oh my God. My understanding is the comic jumped the shark many times. It did. And I ate it up because I was a little kid. I loved it. Yep. I remember growing up, we had an old Sega Sonic game, but I couldn't play it because Dad sold the Sega. No! I rock so. Yeah, that was the funny thing, is that I wasn't into the games because we didn't have anything that could play the games. And once I did play them, I was bad at them anyway. So it wasn't like I was begging my parents to have Sonic games. But the comic was what Sonic was for me. The comic was I was so invested. I needed to have every issue. I loved it so much. Dude, Sonic Boom is so fun. Sonic Boom is good even just for Knuckles. I know some people really hate Dumb Knuckles. I love Dumb Knuckles. I love Dumb Knuckles so much. Yeah. I feel like there's two versions of Knuckles that people really love. Okay. He's a little bit of a Raphael, right? So like some people really love edgy emo Knuckles. He's the serious one. He's, he needs to protect the floating island and like all of this shit. He's got a purpose, right? He has a job, he has a duty. He's a serious boy. And then there's people that are like, no. Knuckles, big muscle man, dumb boy. Those are the two versions of Knuckles that are like generally accepted. The Sonic Boom compilations on YouTube are so good. Yeah, you don't need to watch Sonic Boom because Sonic Boom suffers from like that weird there are certain shows. Moomin Valley also does this, and I don't know why this happens, but it's like the one-off moments inside of the episodes are good, but the story of each episode rarely concludes properly. So Sonic Boom episodes just end suddenly, and you're like, I guess it's done. Moomin Valley does the same thing. You'll be like, what a lovely episode. We had so many nice Snufkin moments, and then it's just over. And you're like, oh. And then the next episode they'll act like whatever happened in the previous episode. Like, you won't pick up where you left off, right? They might mention a couple episodes later that shit happened, but you never pick up where you left off. It's the same with Sonic Boom. You never pick up where you left off. So, yeah. So honestly, you don't need to watch Sonic Boom, okay? But what you do need to do is go on YouTube and search Sonic Boom Knuckles compilation. That's all you need to do. And then just watch that. And then have a nice chuckle and do other stuff. Sonic Boom. A good reference. Knuckles is a menace in that show. He's a king. Love Knuckles in that show. Any good book recs? I haven't read consistently over the last like month, I want to say. I had a good stride there where I was finally finishing books. Felt good about that. I need to get back into novellas, I think. I hit these points where like I don't want to commit to a long ass thing. I started reading Six of Crows and I don't know why I'm having such a hard time like pushing through the beginning of that book. So many people have suggested that book so many times to me. And I'm just trying to shuffle slowly my way through it. A novella is typically like a book that is around 100 pages. So it's a shorter story. And I've read quite a few really good novellas, but they're a nice way to just get back into the swing of like, I just want to read something. I just want to read something and finish it quickly, you know? I think the Murderbot books are technically novellas. I love those. They're a super quick read. Yeah, I read a couple of like sort of horror themed novellas a while back that I was talking with Chad about. The one that I still think about all the time is called Help Meet. Big body horror warnings in that one. And like really gratuitous descriptions of like illness. But God, I really liked that book. I've thought about buying the physical version of that book because I liked it so much. Help Meet, M-E-E-T. Hold on, let me find the author. Help Meet book. Help Meet, all one word. Helpmeet by Nabin Ruthnum. Ruthnum. I loved it. I really loved it. What was the book that I had like no good things to say? It was like a really well-reviewed book, like a novella, a really well-reviewed one that people loved, and I disliked it so completely. Can I not just look at things that I bought on Kindle? That seems weird. Really? Really? I can't just look at my Kindle stuff? Oh, well. I did read the first Nevermore book. It was very cute. Digital purchases is a different tab. I don't know. Your account, content library, books. All right, one more time. Content library. Oh, your account. Okay. We did it. My novellas collection. Uh-oh, it's taking a while to load though. I just really want to tell you not to read this book. I just really want to be able to tell you not to read this book. That's all. It won't load it. I'm desperately trying to be a D influencer right now. You know what? It's on a lot of like top novella lists. Maybe you'd love it. I don't know. Oh my God, why can't I find this stupid book? I definitely didn't dream it. I read the whole thing. Bro. Oh, we did it. Ready? This book sucks. Ready? Okay. A Short Stay in Hell. A Short Stay in Hell. I disliked this book so much. The pitch of it sounded like something I would love. And then I really didn't like it. And maybe this in its own weird way is going to influence some of you to read it. That's fine. But it doesn't do what I, as a reader, wanted it to do, I guess. Yes, it's the library one. So, hold on. Here, I'll read this to you. An ordinary family man, geologist, and Mormon, Soren Johansson, has always believed he'll be reunited with his loved ones after death in an eternal hereafter. Then he dies. Soren wakes to find himself cast by a god he's never heard of into a hell whose dimensions he can barely grasp. A vast library he can only escape from by finding the book that contains the story of his life. That sounds so cool. That like hell is a library and you have to search for the book of you, right? What an interesting premise. I was so mad. Help Me, fantastic. Definitely a horror book, has a lot of body horror in it, really surreal and weird, but like I loved it. I loved it so much. Sour Candy was fine. Sour Candy is another one that shows up in a lot of like, these are my top novellas to read right now. These are novellas that I thought about forever. Sour Candy was okay. It was predictably weird. Help Me took me for a goddamn ride. I loved it. How short are we talking? Like, how long do they take to read? How many pages is this one? So Help Meet is 69 pages. It depends on how fast you read. Help Meet, I think, took me 2 sit-downs to get through. Short Stay in Hell is 110 pages. So yeah, novellas typically are going to be around 100 pages. Sour Candy was really short, if I remember correctly. 84 pages. How wild is that? That out of those 3, the shortest one is the one that I was like, that shit was so good. But yeah, I was just trying to get, and then the Murderbot Diaries are so good. I was trying to just get back into the swing of starting a book and being able to finish it. And chat was like, oh, you should get back into kids books or like young adult books, because young adult books just read really fast, which they do. But I think if you're the sort of person where you're so out of the practice of reading that you're going to constantly be checking to see how many pages are left, or like how many pages until you finish the chapter, like that sort of a thing. Novellas are really nice because you get sucked in just a little bit and then you're like, oh my God, I'm halfway through, you know? Yes. I've never had trouble reading comics, reading manga. Easy. Love that. But for some reason, novels, I struggle with so much depending on what's going on up here, you know? If you redeem raid leader and the one you chose goes offline, do you get the points back? Yes. So I will always check. I don't like accept the points, so to speak, until I've checked to make sure that they're live and that their content's appropriate and all of that sort of stuff. I say like, yep, thank you, once the raid has happened. That's a good shout, Lamia. I haven't really thought of that. They said I really like anthologies to get back into reading. You get the satisfaction of finishing a not too small book, but you aren't stuck with just one long story. Oh my goodness. It's 3:00. Look at us. I have my first proper session of D&D tomorrow after a 10-year drought. I'm so excited, but also so nervous. I'm very excited for you, Free. A dice goblin finally getting to use some of the dice. I hope you have an amazing time. Finally. Okay. let me wrap up here. Thank you guys so much. We've got Sunforge tonight if you're looking for something to watch. I'll be back streaming normally starting tomorrow. But Raid Leader is open if somebody would like to grab it. I'm going to read the activity feed real quick. Also, if you missed it yesterday, we did do Baldur's Goblins or Goblin's Gate, whatever you'd like to call it. It was me, Jesse, and Krendor. We all made little goblin characters and did the beginning of Baldur's Gate, and it was exactly what you think is going to happen. It was very funny. Napa, thank you for the 25 months. Firestorm for the 55. Hazrar for the 90. Aster the Supermage for the 112. SP Wolftech for the 87. Grace Me for the 50. Thomik for the 105. Parade of Laughter for the 55. And Mika Muka for the 106. Yomi is currently playing some spooky games. Let me see what's going on over there. Bite Night. Fantastic. Is that VOD up yet? On YouTube? I don't think so. All right. Go say hi, spread love and joy. I'll see you guys either tonight on Joe's channel or I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Bye, everybody. So long.